Hi Taurus, welcome to the second half of August. This is a general reading for Taurus for August 16th through the 31st of 2020. Keep in mind that this reading may not resonate with everybody, so pick what fits and what is appropriate and let everything else go. Also look at your sun rising signs. They play a part of this, and sometimes there may be a reversal. The cards may not be reflecting you, they could be reflecting of someone who's significant to you. But further, I appreciate you for clicking on this video and coming to my new YouTube channel. This is a new sort of modem for me, and appreciate your patience as I sort of get it started, but and thank you for support. I would greatly appreciate if you would click the big three, which is the like, the subscribe, and notification buttons, as those are important for the YouTube algorithms, and be great if and I would thank you in advance for your support. I have already shuffled the cards and asked for the angel and spirits guidance on what can Taurus expect in the next 2 weeks, or things that are on the horizon for them, and that was to save time. And so we have this card over here. This represents your past influences, things that within the last 3 to 6 months that you've been dealing with that have an influence on where we are currently. The second card is your the present state, where we are right now. And the third card here is your future state, your immediate future, things that are on the horizon here. The fourth card is challenges, and challenges does not imply they're going to happen. It's just things that could happen, and it sort of gives you forewarning that if you recognize it, then you can prevent it and get through it smoother. And the last card here are outcomes of sort of immediate issues and things that are surrounding Taurus and all aspects. So, first card. In our first card here, we have the Seven of Wands. So this is in your past influences. So here we are. What this says is that some Taurus was challenged by others, or you might have faced some sort of challenges where others were sort of trying to perhaps covet or what you had, or a job that you had, or a position, or an assignment. And it's saying here that you were prepared to fight for it, yeah, I guess. And it sounds like there are some tense moments and some sort of competitive environment. Now, it could be work related, but it could have been just with family. It's just some sort of issue that sort of came up. I'm not getting a clear idea of which it applies to, but it was just some kind of a disagreement or a challenge that some Taurus individuals were experiencing here. But it sounds like, again, that there was some tenseness, and it was important for Taurus to sort of protect what you had earned and protect yourself. What's important here, or it's something to think about here, Taurus, as we know, that it's a sad fact that the more visible you step up to be a leader, or take a front role, or volunteer to lead, or to take charge of something, that you're going to find some people who are just going to chop you down for pettiness. And it sounds like perhaps that's something that you might have taken on, that you decided to take on some sort of a role, and then you got hit by people who either complained or nitpicked for whatever reason, and sort of put pressure on. And you have to remember that others sometimes can see your success, either as a challenge that challenges their point of view, and they want to take you down for whatever reason. It's silly, but it just happens, and unfortunately. But when the Seven of Wands appears here, in your present influences, it's basically telling me that that Taurus, you sort of saw these increased haters or trolls, or people who are disagreeing with you just to disagree with you, that you were able to secure your sort of territory and fight for what you stand for. And it sounds like you were prepared for the battle, so to speak, and to not be a pushover. That the Seven of Wands here tells us too that it's a that some Taurans just wanted to hold a sort of contentious point of view, and or if you wanted to voice your opinion on something, it just says that perhaps if there was some sort of argument that took place that you had to that you were involved in, that it was about standing firm in your conviction and your belief, and that went out in that one, and hopefully for many Taurus that you were able to, even if it's uncomfortable, you were able to stand firm in your self-belief here. Taurus, sometimes there's a threat of opposition can catch many of you by surprise, and anybody by surprise, and it also leaves some Taurus here. I get the feeling that we're sort of left feeling inadequate, or perhaps they weren't prepared for such a battle, and it may have felt like a sort of emotional setback. So yeah, it just sort of says that perhaps you had to scramble at the last minute, or some Taurus had to scramble at the last minute because they weren't prepared to take on that battle, and so that perhaps took a little bit more of an emotional toll. But the Seven of Wands here is basically saying it was encouraging for Taurus to map out any potential threats, and not take some things seriously, and other things you sort of just have to let go, and more importantly is not take it personally. And this also serves to remind Taurus that people are going to challenge success, and if you're working on a creative project, or you were in charge of some committee, or you were going to organize something for a small group of people, whether it was family or work or whatever, someone or something may get in the way of you, Taurus, as you're able to pursue your goals and dreams, and your vision of whatever it is what you were working on. And some people are going to block your path, and it sounds like to me that some people, perhaps some Taurus, experience that in some way, and it sounds like I pick up from this card that most Tauruses, if they encounter such a sort of a activity, that it sounds like you were able to get through the obstacle, and using sort of a strong self-confidence. And remember, Taurus, you're the bull, and you can be stubborn, so that might have served you well in this situation. It's important, as we know, to establish sort of clear boundaries, and hold your ground if your conviction is correct. So it sounds like many Tauruses went through sort of to test their courage and persistence, and hopefully although it may have been uncomfortable, that you came out of it feeling feeling strong and more determined, hopefully you got something out of that. So now in our present state, so we have the Ten of Cups. Wow. So Ten of Cups is a great card, but I notice you have it here in the reverse position. So what's going on here, Taurus? So normally the Ten of Cups embodies happiness if it's in the upright position, and a joy and sort of emotional contentment, particularly around relationships and family, which Taurus, that's important to you. And it's saying here that some Taurans created, if you've created sort of an abundance of love and happiness that was in your relationships or in your family, when this card appears in the upright position, it's a very powerful and deep connection, typically, and Taurus really appreciates that sort of support, and it brings people together, because again, the Ten of Cups is about happy family, and it suggests that family relationships, and there's harmony and lots of love, and there's no one fighting and causing tension. It's about getting along, and it's a good card to have. However, that's when it's in the upright position, and you here, Taurus, have this in the reverse position. So when the card's Ten of Cups is in the reverse position, which you have, it's telling me that many Taurans were seeking a sort of even greater harmony connection, and and perhaps you wanted it to be more harmonious than something was or is right now. And in the reality, it sounds like some Taurians didn't get what their wish was. Some were feeling disconnected and perhaps disengaged from their loved ones or family or small group or whoever, or whatever activity it was, and it just some Taurians just felt that something was missing, and that you may have been struggling to communicate, honestly, what your feelings were. And so, it sounds like, some Tauruses, every time you tried to connect with somebody, something might have went wrong, and perhaps you were feeling more distance between you and these other individuals, or whatever that you were planning or being involved in. It's possible that Taurus, you right now may be having some unrealistic expectations in your relationships, and that is possible, and or you're focusing on perhaps a little too deeply than it needs to. But this card basically says, when it's in the upright, it's if that's the case, or something similar, it's about realigning towards your expectations, and it's not a bad thing. It's just an opportunity to sort of self-reflect and realign, and readdress expectations, and perhaps they were a little higher than what they needed to be, or they were projected onto the others, and and that happens. And this is saying, every relationship has their ups and downs, and not beat yourself up over it, Taurus. This is about maybe the connections change and people change, and you have to sort of allow people to change if they're not sitting in that box that you wanted them to be in. The Ten of Cups here invites Taurus, that you seek out sort of common ground with your loved ones or family when you're trying to rebuild relationships, or if you're trying to get family, or family could be blood or other, whoever you call family. When you're trying to get people together, and sometimes if it's pushed too hard, you're going to get sort of a pushback, I guess. So here, for Taurus, if that was resonated with some Taurus, that it's asking you to see the other people or the other persons, of that, and that they're worthy, and they're human, and that's not necessarily personal to you. It's about opening lines of communication and being ready to hold your space, for another, and reconnect again, and let go of grudges if that is a possibility, and we don't want to feel like a victim, and hold your compassion and understanding, and be respectful. And again, harmony is going to come again. The reverse Ten of Cups here, can also appear, when you're contemplating about your significant other, or someone that you're in love with, or that you have a loving relationship with, and rather than building relationships with others, perhaps Taurus, you're focusing your attention inward, so that you can sort of gain more clarity about what you want from that relationship. You can ask yourself, or some Tauruses are asking themselves, what an ideal relationship looks like, and how you want to give and receive love. So this card, when it's in the reverse, is basically saying, consider how you bring more of this energy into your future relationships. And it's suggesting that you look at your existing relationships, and check in to see how those relationships align with your personal desires. And most importantly is let go of things that no longer serve you or fulfill you or bring you happiness, and welcome in new relationships and new changes, and that's going to be the highest good. And realize that if you had an expectation of somebody, that people change, and you might have to rechange your expectations, and allow them to change. The Ten of Cups here, in reverse, can reveal misalignment of personal values, and it's just an opportunity to sort of to recheck, and or some Taurians may not be living up to their own values, perhaps, and not being true to yourself. And if that's the case, if it's affecting those Taurus, you're not allowing others to you're allowing others to decide what they will, and that's not making you happy. And perhaps that you're feeling stubborn about that. But as a result, maybe you're some Tauruses are questioning whether you believe in what you're doing, and you want to bring focus back to what truly makes you happy. And it's kind of like if you were here's an example. Taurus, if you were wanting to set up a family dinner at your house, and all of a sudden somebody wants it at their house, and now they got the party sort of split between whose house they're going to. You may feel disappointed that they're not coming to your house because that's sort of what you're used to. But maybe give it a chance and let them go to the other house. You pick your battles, I guess, it's what it's saying here. And most importantly, talk with the other people, but you don't hold it in. And you don't want to feel like a victim here, because if you believe in the laws of attraction, if you start feeling like a victim, or you start sort of focusing on the negative, you're going to attract negative. So look at the positives. Find something. If it didn't go your way, or it didn't meet your expectation, this card is basically saying is focus on the positives, even if they're small, and get your external self and your inner source back in alignment, and get those vibrations together, and you'll get through this. So it's about just changing and looking at a different point of view. It's okay to be disappointed, but don't hang on to it. Is what I'm getting from there. So now in our future here, we have the Hierophant. It's interesting. This is a high. You have a. What do we have here? Yeah, this is a major arcana card. So when you have this card, this is this represents spiritual values, and spiritual is whatever spiritual to you, and what your beliefs are, and it's correlated with it can be correlated with religion. It can be correlated with anything that you find, Buddha, whoever, whatever again is spiritual to you. That's what you take it for. It encourages you to sort of to learn the fundamental principles about something, that you're searching for something, that perhaps you want to learn more about something has importance to you. When this shows up, it's saying that for Taurus, that perhaps it's a good time to find a teacher or a mentor or a guide, and sort of teach you about whatever that mystical thing it is that you want to learn more about. It could be formal education, it could be informal, it could be online. It's whatever. If this is fitting for Tauruses who are looking for something deeper and wanting to learn something more about a particular topic, and increase sort of wellness, this is the time to do it. And it's basically saying that this can help enhance your own traditions and your own core values. So if you're open to it, it will come. And it's yeah, and I'm just speaking of, it could be formal study, it could be just small group discussion or informal. It just says that if it's of interest to you, go explore it. This is the time to explore it. And for some Tauruses, perhaps you mastered some sort of field of study recently, and now you're in a role of a teacher or a mentor to others. And if this is applying to you, this is your opportunity to honor and acknowledge your responsibility to share your knowledge to others in a structured way, or to the traditions of something, and give back to others. So it could be either one. This card here, when it's looking in your sort of immediate future, it follows the convention of staying within the bounds of a tried and tested sort of model, and it's basically following a path, and it sounds to me like if you're not ready to sort of go out on a limb, and perhaps not offer any sort of new or innovative ideas, it sounds like you just adhere to the key sort of principles and the rules that and this will be positive for you. So it doesn't have to be something wild and crazy, or too extreme. It could be the basics, and and at any length, I guess. This is really going to lead it up to what your interest is and how much further you want to investigate it for yourself. This is about identifying with others and thinking, about further learning, about and it could be self-learning, self-understanding. It's lots of learning here. In our challenges. Oh, we have the High Priestess. You have another major Arcana card here, so you've got two here. So this is a good card. The High Priestess is she's a guardian, and she's the guardian of subconscious. She's a teacher, which sort of goes into this part over here, but it has a lot to do with the subconscious mind and sort of connecting your conscious and your subconscious together. It sort of teaches you that the world is not always as it seems, and there are a lot of profound influences. When this card sort of arrives here, she brings a thin veil of awareness, and there's a deep sort of intuitive understanding about the universe and sort of heightened awareness, and sort of it's sort of if you're encouraged to or interested in sort of looking at the secret or sort of hidden information, this is the time to look into it, which goes back over here is learning about something that's of interest in you. The High Priestess signifies spiritual sort of enlightenment. It's about inner illumination. It's about a divine knowledge and wisdom. When she shows up here, this tends to represent sort of the veil between you and the underworld, and that it's very thin, and there's an opportunity to access knowledge and deep within your soul. And again, perhaps there's just sort of deep investigative role that you want here, which ties back over to this card. So it's saying now is the time to sort of be still and tune into your intuition, Taurus. If you're seeking answers, the answers that you are seeking will come from within, and it's about the deepest truth and sort of knowing and allowing sort of this High Priestess to become your guide and venture you into sort of that deep subconscious mind and inner wisdom, and if you're sort of unlocking your intuition and inner wisdom. It's about connecting with your intuition and your higher self. It's really is meditation. It recommends meditation even daily on this. It could be wonderful in sort of calming your mind and sort of focusing on one thing. It's about visualization and journeying, and it's really about spiritual communities. It's saying for some Tauruses to rely on your intuitive sense right now, and if you don't use it, this is a time to use it. And I'm picking up that you'll get useful information when you rely on your intuition here, Taurus, and it'll help you sort of to be in touch with your subconscious mind and thoughts. And if there's issues that you've sort of are unsettled, it will bring resolution to those things. And by tapping in and sort of trusting that intuition that you have, this will allow yourself time and space to find that inner voice that you have. And it encourages Tauruses to look at areas in your life that may be out of balance or that are lacking flow and are ease and sort of that self introspection. And this is telling me that now is the time sort of to you're going to be in a heightened sort of intuitive ability and almost psychic insight to some degree. And some Tauruses are developing these skills, and the High Priestess here is basically offering further encouragement to you, Taurus, to continue your journey and to trust that you're on the right path. The more you listen to your intuition, the more it will flow, and that's key here. So again, the High Priestess is a signal that you're being called to embrace sort of a divine phenomenon, and your connection to your intuition, your compassion, your empathy, your inner wisdom, Taurus. Regardless of your gender, this card is saying it's vital for you to sort of find balance and integrate your masculine and feminine energies, and it's about bringing presence. This High Priestess signals that you're on sacred feminine needs that need attention right now, and be softer, sort of a softer approach. It's saying feel rather than think. It's saying collaborate rather than compete. It's saying create rather than destroy. It's saying trust your divine energy, and even the masculine energy, and find that balance, and you'll be stronger, and you'll come out feeling great, actually. And you'll feel proud of your ability to nurture trust and have a sense and empathize instead of hiding it, and it's bringing it's channeling those sort of emotions that you may have. So wow, very interesting. And our outcomes here is, well, we have the Fool. So here we go again. Boy, you have 3 major arcana cards in your reading here for August. So this is a good card. The Fool, is about new beginnings, and it's saying, Taurus, is that you have an opportunity, and there's lots of potential, and just like this guy right here in the card here, he's sort of going out on some journey of the unknown, but it feels good, and the timing is right. And even though you may not know exactly where you're going or what you want to do, but you're getting a feeling of a calling that you need to do something different. And what this card is saying here is follow your heart, no matter how crazy the leap of faith is right now or may seem to you. Obviously use common sense, but this is saying take a leap of faith, get out of your comfort zone, and to trust where the universe is taking you, and this is the moment that's good timing. The universe brings things when you're ready. So it's saying here, Taurus, that on a new journey, this is about encouraging you to have open, curious mind and a sense of excitement, and throw caution to the wind. It's about embracing the unknown and leaving behind any fears or worries or anxiety that sort of holds you back. It's about embracing new experiences and your personal growth and development and adventure, and it definitely ties into the cards over here about seeking out something. But this card is saying, and your outcome is that the time is now. It's now. Take a leap of faith. Not 2 months from now. It's saying that even if you're not 100% ready or equipped for what is coming, and who knows, whatever it could be, this card is saying, seriously, what are you waiting for, Taurus? It is saying that start it. Start it someplace. You don't have to have everything in place, and not everything has to be mapped out. It's about a venture and enjoying the venture, and putting things and bringing things together sort of to map it. But you don't have to have everything in place, because you may not get everything in place, and if you wait, you're going to miss this opportunity, this sort of window of opportunity. So this card is saying now, take the breadcrumbs, start someplace. It's just getting started at some level will excite you, and will start this new sort of beginning, and everything else will fall into place. And so this is the time, Taurus, is to find your potential and use this opportunity right now. This is saying that the world's your oyster, and anything can happen. And this is about using your creative mind. It's trusting in spontaneity, and it's very magical, and it's about new ideas. So for Taurus, in your outcomes here, this is saying, this is your invitation to relax, to play, to have fun, to treat your life, Taurus, like a big experiment, and feel yourself, feel yourself with sort of that flow of happiness and what makes you feel good and energizes you, and it will have a rippling effect. This card here is about embracing, a beautiful, carefree spirit. It's about connecting yourself to your energy that surrounds you and flows through you. It's about tapping the fullest potential and stepping into the place of wonderment and curiosity and intrigue. And it's encouraging you to use your inner child once again, and to laugh more and dance, and let your heart go, and not be so stubborn as a Taurus can be. But it's an excellent card, and meditate on this one. Get into meditation and calm your mind, and sort of put it out there, what sort of any idea that you may have, and just go with it. It will take away any self-doubt that's in your life. The Fool here, Taurus, is a guide, and if you think about it, it's saying, it's offering you someone who's daring and carefree, and and it's an embodiment of who you really are, Taurus. And you're a free spirit, and use your inner child, and you have a playful soul. And right now, it's saying now, the universe is telling you now is the time to experience and to let go of fear, and encourages you to acknowledge. You can be fearful, but acknowledge it. But fear is a part of growth. Don't let the fear hold you back, is what it's saying here. And it's saying, take the step forward, take that, and trust that the universe is going to catch you, and will help you here. This is about seeing chance, and exploring, and having fun along the way, whatever it is that you want to do, and even whether it's small or big. It's if you're feeling this sort of energy, Taurus, this is the time here. So again, very interesting. So that's what the cards are saying here, Taurus, for the last half of August 16th through the 31st of August 2020. And again, I thank you for coming to my YouTube channel of As I See You Tarot. And again, I would appreciate, if you will, to do the big threes, click the like, the subscribe, and the notification bell. It would help with the YouTube algorithms, and help me perfect my channel and my passion. So thank you again, Taurus. Enjoy, and we'll see you in September.